Page 5 now, politicizing the congressional shooting in Virginia. It only took a couple of hours before Democrat hacks and demagogues spewed their predictable hatred of the Bill of Rights, specifically the Second Amendment. They are using this tragic event as a marketing tool for stricter gun laws. Now, think about that. This guy who wounded 5 people at the softball field, he purchased his firearms legally. However, he could just as easily bought them on the black market, right? AKA illegally. And so what good would stricter gun laws do then? How about this? How about more guns in the hands of good people? In other words, more guns, less crime. Joining me now on the Daily Ledger, Page 5 beat Stephanie Marie. And Steph, it's interesting, in Virginia where the shooting took place, open carry is legal. So you can walk around with a firearm as long as you are legally doing so. But in Washington, D.C., where all these folks came from, it's verboten. You can't carry a firearm around.
Yeah, we have some serious issues with our gun laws. They just don't make sense. And while leftists are using the Virginia shooting as a reason to take away guns from law-abiding citizens, conservatives, even the ones that came under fire, are using this tragedy as an example for why we need less gun control. Congressman Steve Scalise's colleagues say that Washington's restrictive gun laws barred him and other lawmakers who live in the Capitol from bringing guns to the baseball practice. And had there not been a member of House leadership present, there would have been no Capitol Police with guns to stop the shooting from becoming a massacre.
Guns are used, according to Obama's Center for Disease Control, guns are used 16 to 100 times more often to save life than to take life. So it would be like saying we're going to, there's too many cars on the street because there's drunk drivers that abuse them. Well, that's the same logic that he wants to use for firearms. Yes, firearms do get abused, but far more often they're being used to save life. And in fact, concealed carry holders are the safest segment of society. It's very interesting that they actually commit crimes at a lower rate than do the police. And so this is one of the reasons why we're so strongly supporting H.R. 38 in the Congress, which would allow for concealed carry reciprocity. So if you're able to carry concealed in your home state, then you would be able to carry anywhere in the country, all across the country, and be able to protect yourself. The anti-gun journalists rush out ahead in order to try to make a point in favor of gun control, and yet they don't know their facts. One of the CNN contributors, David Frum, said one of the problems with Virginia is that we don't have background checks. Virginia doesn't have registration. Virginia doesn't have licensing. All those things were false. Completely false. All new guns sold in Virginia go through a background check. In fact, the killer went through a background check in his home state of Illinois. And if you want to carry concealed in the state of Virginia, you do have to get a license and you are registered. So, when they talk about wanting more laws, they don't even know the laws that exist. It's just their knee-jerk reaction is to say we want more laws because they hate guns in private hands, because they're big government statists that want the government to take care of us. But what we really see is that the safest places in our country are the places where it's the easiest to get firearms.
Now, some Republican lawmakers are saying that reciprocity for members needs to be discussed, as well as security protection for lawmakers, not just the top leaders who have round-the-clock Capitol Police detail.
Now, and here we go again. More gun laws, stricter gun laws would not have stopped this maniac. And that said, it's interesting, though, that this guy from Illinois, this shooter, purchased his rifle, from what I understand, and possibly the handgun as well, legally. But when you look at the rifle, I believe it was technically an assault weapon, which is a silly term to begin with. Anything can be an assault weapon, starting with a baseball bat. Let's stipulate it's an assault weapon. But Illinois has very strict regulations on selling, quote, assault weapons, but also the ammunition. So, these points are being missed, I think, by many people in the mainstream media. That said, right now, these bills that were alluded to just a few seconds ago are very popular in Congress right now, correct?
Yes, they are. The Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act is ranked 14th right now in co-sponsors. That's out of 2,700 bills. So this, again, would make it legal for people who have concealed carry to take it from state to state. So that in this case, Washington, D.C. to Virginia, you don't have to leave your gun behind, because those laws put law-abiding citizens at risk. And it also puts them at risk for committing crimes, because somebody who is a legal gun owner crosses a state line, police officer picks them up and they have the gun, they could serve many months, if not years, in jail.
And let's not forget the strict, very strict gun laws in the District of Columbia, which is becoming lethal to more and more residents of that region, and that's why a lot of people are leaving and going to the outskirts and living in Virginia, where there are more relaxed gun laws. But there's also another law, or a potential law, bill that's pending that has to do with silencers. Is very popular.
Yeah, so this bill would ease gun silencer restrictions. So suppressors, that is, and the left likes to call them silencers, and they try to make it seem like an evil thing. But this is really about hearing protection. This is for gun enthusiasts, people who are shooting guns, people who've actually shot a gun know how loud they can be and how painful it can be for your ear if you don't have protection. And again, the left tries to make it seem like this is evil and this is what criminals want, but it's the total opposite. And even in countries where they have very strict gun laws, this is something that they have. So why wouldn't we have it here in the U.S.?
People are struggling for to blame somebody in a situation like this. They blame the mainstream media. They blame vitriolic conversations among lawmakers. They blame the guns. They blame the ammo. I think the blame here goes to the shooter and the shooter only. Steph, thanks.